Hi guys, it's Marja from Korean Quarantine Cuisine. Today I want to bring a recipe to you that is very traditional in Korea. It's a kimchi. It's called kimchi and it's made with this daikon. Korean daikon typically is big and white, white on the half white and half green. I could not find that because we're in quarantine, but I was able to score these amazing little purple daikon. And I gave it a taste and they're really sweet and quite crispy. So I'm excited to see how this is going to turn out with the kimchi. I wanted to point out that one of the reason why I have this pot here is because I'm regrowing scallions. I use a lot of scallions in my recipes. And when I cut them, I just cut it to about here, leave the white. And you've got these little roots here. And if you put it in water and put it in a sunny spot for a few days, the green starts to come out, which is so amazing. I didn't think it was gonna work, but it worked. And these are the ones that I did before. It's probably about a week's worth of growth, but I have all new scallions and we're not wasting. So I just want to point that out to you. I will do later videos where I talk more about planting and growing vegetables here. So that's been quite a process, but I'll show you in later videos, that one. So we'll get on to our kimchi making and let me start cutting up this daikon. Okay, so now I'm going to cut up this daikon. You want to do about a 1-inch piece, 1-inch pieces. I'm going to do slices like that. If you're worried about the daikon with its shape rolling around, you can always make like a flat edge and then do the slices. Okay, so once you have them like this, now with a bigger daikon, of course, you're going to have big discs like that. I would do probably 4 slices across and then make really extra large cubes, but I'm keeping it small because they're small, so. And you can cut it any way you want, it really doesn't matter. It's your preference. They're so pretty with the purple. I'm glad I had a chance to get these. Okay. So now you've got all your daikon in the bowl. Let's say, for this recipe, I started with about 3 pounds of daikon, and I used probably a third of a cup of salt. Now, let's talk about salt. You don't want to use Morton salt. Please don't use Morton salt. It's way too salty, and it's just not good quality. In Korea, they use this sea salt, which is harvested from the sea. It's got a great saltiness. And you're gonna give it a toss like that. And then after about a half an hour, you're gonna have to check on it every half hour and give it a mix. So you can see all this water came out from just salting it. No water was added, nothing. So you wanna pull out the water because that helps pickle and preserve the daikon for a long time. So what you're looking for after you've salted it about an hour and a half, it'll be a little spongy feeling on the outside, but definitely crispy on the inside. So now I'm going to drain this and rinse it off. You want to get that salt off because it's already in the vegetable. And then we'll start the paste. Okay, so now it's time to make the paste. This is the most important part of getting a good kimchi. Okay, so the base starts with rice flour. You can buy rice flour and it comes in a powder. I would suggest doing probably a 1/4 cup of rice flour to about 2.5 cups of water. And you would just slowly bring that to a boil. It's gonna thicken up and then you get a paste. What I did, because I don't have the rice flour with me right now, is I have sweet rice here. So sweet rice is just, it kind of looks like risotto grains, but it's sweet and they use it for mochi and things like that. So I ground this myself in this VitaPrep, made a powder, and then I did the same thing. And if you want to get fancy, when you're boiling the water, you could put a piece of kombu in there just to kind of give an extra layer of flavor there. So, okay, I've done that already. Now I need to make the puree. You're going to put in, I use a large onion for the overall recipe in total. Half of it I chop up and then I put in here to make the puree. So that's a half of a large onion. 1 cup of garlic. It's a lot of garlic, but it's Korean food, so throw that in there. A piece of ginger. I would suggest maybe cutting it a little bit, just so it doesn't get stuck under the blade. About a thumb size. And then, we need to put a bit of apple in there. Some people like to put sugar. I do put a tiny bit of sugar in the rice paste when I'm cooking it, but just to add a little acidity and a little bit of sweetness, I like to use Gala apples or Pink Lady, not necessarily a Macintosh. I find them to be kind of so boring in terms of apple flavors. So, okay, about a third of an apple. Throw that in there. And I'm gonna wanna add just a little bit of water to get it going. Probably a fourth cup. And then we're gonna blend it. All right, so we have our rice base. We also have this ginger, garlic, apple and onion puree. All right, so you wanna give that a bit of a mix. I didn't put sugar in the rice paste the first time. I figured I'd add it at the end. This is about 2 teaspoons. And it just really kind of activates the rice and everything and helps with the fermentation process, more so than adding so much sweetness. So now we have the rice base and the puree incorporated well. I'm going to add about 3/4 of a cup of fish sauce. I personally like 3 crabs fish sauce. It's not too salty, it's really stinky, but it tastes so great. So you're going to give that a mix. Actually, maybe a whisk would be better because it's more incorporated without splashing it. So get that together. And then this is where the spice comes in. So I kept the bag around because I wanted you guys to see the difference. So if you go to a Korean supermarket or an Asian supermarket, they normally carry Korean red chili powder. You know, it may have Korean writing on it, but I always check the origin of the peppers, and if it comes from China, I don't like to buy that brand because, you know, sometimes they do things in process that makes causes heartburn and they dyes and things. So I just, you know, I really would prefer to buy from Korea. So the red pepper powder that you would want to buy should have something on there that says from Korea, or an HAACP symbol somewhere. So check it out. But this is what it looks like. And when you buy the chili pepper, you'll know how much to put in there if you just give it a taste. You can see the spiciness there. So I would adjust according to your taste. But I'm gonna put in probably about a cup of the red pepper flakes. We're gonna mix that. Oh shoot! See, that's why I was using the whisk. Anyway, moving with it, moving. All right. So usually when I make kimchi, I have these huge plastic tubs. I don't know where they are right now. I really don't. But anyway, this will do. Make it happen. So you want to do this process first, because once you get the vegetables and things in there, it can be kind of hard. You might be left with lumps of, you know, just chili somewhere, or, you know, maybe the rice isn't dispersed all the way through, so the ingredients aren't even. But if you do that, it should work out pretty well. All right. So now come the vegetables. So you have to, oh my God, I almost forgot. I'll be right back. Oh my gosh, guys, I almost forgot. This is an important part of the base for the kimchi. So in addition to putting sliced scallions and carrot and some onion, you can also add mustard greens. Koreans use a lot of different greens when they're making kimchi. Some kimchi is even made with whole fish in it, but we'll get to those 300 other kimchis some other time. So now I'm just gonna julienne these because I'm gonna mix it into the paste that we made. Okay, so I've sliced the daikon pretty thin, and then you just wanna lay it out here. You can also just use a cheese grater and just grate it if you're a little bit nervous with your knife skills. Don't judge mine. And they make these little matchsticks. Okay, so now we've got everything julienned up, and I think we're really ready to get this kimchi together. So I'm gonna get a big pan. I need to find something to mix in, and I'll be right back. Okay, so all I could find that would do the job for this is a big aluminum pan, but use whatever you got. All right, so I'm gonna dump this in here. I'm going to dump the vegetables into the paste. So that was carrot and daikon. This is scallions. I just cut in diagonal, 1-inch pieces, just for the look. And then I've got the rest of that half of an onion, sliced thinly. So, put that in there. I thought I could mix in there, that's not gonna happen. Okay, where's my spatula? Okay. So I'm just gonna spread this out all over. Now if I had a big bowl, I would have done this ahead of time with the vegetables and then put it on the kimchi, but it's the same thing. It's the same thing. Okay, I need my plastic gloves. Now you can get these gloves at the Korean market, and I love them for making kimchi because usually it's done by hand. It's really hard to make kimchi with, with a spoon. You really need to get your hands in there. So I'm just gonna massage this around so that these vegetables on top get mixed in. And also the gloves save your hands from smelling like garlic all day. This is not looking so clean, but it's a messy business. That's why I wore black, because I'm a slob. And if this gets on your clothes, it's not coming out. It's not coming out. So the next important step after we get this all mixed and incorporated, like it is, you have to find storage jars that you'll never use for anything else again. Like, never. It will always smell like kimchi. So I need to find some containers, and I will be right back. Okay, so my kimchi's done. I was able to find an actual kimchi container. That's great. It keeps the smell out of the rest of your fridge, I think. And I'll show you how to pack that later. But I also found a ball jar, which is great. Just so you can see. Yep, I had this for kimchi before, and it smells like kimchi. Woo. Okay, so I'm gonna put this in here. Just a little messy, but I have a towel to wipe it out. So it's important when you make kimchi, and the important thing to keep in kimchi is how you store it. So, if you have kimchi in your fridge and you're standing there meandering around all the shelves to see what you have, it's making your fridge warm, so then it'll make your kimchi go bad, or kimchi ferment faster. It's just not going to hold as well, and it changes the flavor profile. So don't do that. And then when you pack it in, you always want to make sure there's not a bunch of air in there, so you're going to push it down. Push it down, try and get all the little air pockets out of there. And I would leave about 1 inch of space. I don't want to overcrowd this, because this is going to be doing a dance later as it ferments, because I'm going to leave it out at room temperature overnight. I like it a little fermented. And in the morning you'll see bubbles coming up. Don't be afraid. If you overpack this though, and then you try and open it, it could explode in your face, which I wouldn't want that. But yeah, it should be good. And this will keep for weeks in a cold place, so in the fridge. So I would put it in the back, maybe give it a couple taps like that so all the air comes out. And that's Kaktuki kimchi. I'm gonna put the rest of it in here so that I don't have any more ball jars, but this is a designated kimchi container. You'll know what I mean once you make this and wash your dishes. I hope that you enjoyed this recipe. I hope you try it. And hopefully you won't ever buy kimchi again because you do the best.